morning, everyone, and welcome to Great Day Washington. I'm Ellen Bryan. Kristen is not here in studio, but we're going to see her shortly as we check in with her because this morning has been the day that the Washington football team announced their new name just here within the last hour. From now on, here in the DMV, we will be cheering on the Washington Commanders. Here first is a look at their word mark. Of course, the primary logo is now going to be a W that you see right there. Been seeing some of the jerseys come out and some of the other branding that they've been putting out this morning. So we want to start now by heading out to Kristen Brissett-Harris, who is live at FedEx Field along with sports director Darren Haynes. Hey, this is exciting, Kristen.
It is, Ellen. It is finally here. The secret is out. The cat's out of the bag. The Washington Commanders are ready to take on the DMV here at FedEx Field. It was an exciting morning. You know, a lot of people have been speculating about the name. Dan Snyder, the owner of the Washington Commanders, came out this morning, and here's what he had to say.
Well, first off, welcome to not the best kept secret in D.C.
Not much is a secret here in DC anymore. The uniforms, of course, they kept the burgundy and gold, but the uniforms have such a nod to the history of this team here in Washington, DC. I'm going to bring in sports director Darren Haynes. Darren, what stood out to you this morning of just this ushering in this new legacy?
Well, what stood out is the direction and positivity with the name that they chose, the Commanders. It has that powerful, let's take command of the NFL and put us in a place where this team hasn't been in many, many years. Mm-hmm. And the thing about people is, in order to move forward, we have to create change, and they're creating that change to move forward, and that was a great sight to see that I saw today.
Yeah, we saw a lot of alumni today. Doc Walker, B. Mitch, Brian Mitchell. We had Joe Theismann, but then we had some of the current guys, Jonathan Allen, and they talked about bridging that gap between the legacy of the Washington team that we knew and what is to come.
Yeah, and the thing that I really enjoy about seeing all these former players here is this Washington, D.C. community loves to embrace the past because they're so good in the past.
Yeah.
And what we saw today, we saw legends from the past, but we also saw players from the present, or should I say the future, like Jonathan Allen. And one of those guys from the past was quarterback, Joe Theismann.
Yeah, one of the legends here in D.C., and this is what he had to say.
I like the name Commanders. It just has a ring to it. It has a sense of strength to it. It has a sense of authority to it. And that's who we are going to become, and that's who we are going to be. And that's why this franchise is so special to me.
I know there's been a lot of dissent about the name, Darren, but I feel like seeing the players out here, they are excited that this is over, that this has been decided, and that now they can move forward and create a new legacy.
Oh, I think the entire DMV wanted to finally know what the name was.
Yes.
That anticipation, I mean, we're like, come on, it's like a kid on Christmas Day. Like, I want to open up the presents. What is so amazing about this particular moment is, there's two things about people. We don't like change, but we also don't like the way things are. Right. And this is one of those moments where we have to create change because right now, a lot of Washington football fans, or excuse me, Washington Commander fans.
There you go.
You got to get used to that.
Get used to it now.
Do not like where we are right now, and this is creating that change for that.
We've seen in the past with other NFL teams that not necessarily have changed names, but have changed uniforms and changed color, and it just sends, I feel like, a new sense of excitement and inspiration within the team. We saw that with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers many years ago, and maybe this can kind of, now that this is all done, maybe we'll see some victories.
Commanders, FedEx Field, the command center. Head coach Ron Rivera, Commander-in-Chief.
I like that. And now the team store's open, so you can get your new Washington Commanders gear. Ellen, it's been quite a morning. We've got so much more coming up for you throughout the show, but it's official, the Washington Commanders.
I'm surprised Darren didn't say he was right. You've been right, Darren, for weeks. We all should have listened to you.
Listen, I came here, they're giving me high fives. I put a lot of research together and a little bit of luck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And thanks to Sky 9 to confirm it for me last night. But yeah.
The cat was out of the bag last night.
I got it right.
Yeah, you had me convinced, Darren. Well, thank you. You guys both mentioned how the fans are feeling about this. We have some reactions here to the name that have been pouring in, a few of them on social media. We'll start with Jordan, who's so excited. Today. He simply posted the Washington Commanders. I don't know if you heard that, but he changed it to Commanders Today, his handle there on Twitter. Also, we've heard from team president Jason Wright, who posted leadership, service, and a common unifying mission to characterize this fan base and the DMV, a mission to live up to our championship legacy and win titles in burgundy and gold. Introducing the Washington Commanders, along with a video that introduced the Commanders as well. And then I love this one. We have a very funny one referencing the other big NFL news that happened this week. JT posted, Tom Brady has never beaten the Washington Commanders and never will. Hey, that is right, after Tom Brady announced his retirement. Meanwhile, in other football news this morning, fired Miami Dolphins head coach Brian Flores accuses the NFL and several teams of racial discrimination. In a lawsuit filed yesterday, Flores accuses the Giants of picking their next head coach before his interview, which he says was only conducted so New York could fulfill the Rooney Rule. That rule requires teams to interview minority candidates. He also accuses the Broncos of conducting a sham interview and alleges the Dolphins owner offered him money to lose games to secure a higher draft pick. Also, for our Super Bowl here coming up with the NFL, we now know who will perform the national anthem at this year's Super Bowl on February 13th. It is Grammy-nominated country singer Mickey Guyton. Also, Grammy-nominated artist Jhené Aiko will sing America the Beautiful, while the gospel sister duo Mary Mary will perform Lift Every Voice and Sing. So much news with the NFL today. All right, then there's something else that's happening today. It's, Groundhog Day, and it looks like it's going to be 6 more weeks of winter, according to Punxsutawney Phil. The legendary groundhog saw his shadow this morning at Gobbler's Knob in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. People from all over the world crowded into this small town just to get a look at the groundhog on this Groundhog Day tradition. Since 1887, town leaders have pulled the rodent from his den, pretended to confer with him, and then they announced his prediction. This is actually the 136th year of the event. All right, speaking of winter, there is a massive winter storm that has nearly half of the country in its crosshairs. It could actually bring snow and icy conditions to 21 states. Bradley Blackburn has the latest on the track and how millions of people are coping, many still dealing with the aftermath of a massive snowfall from this past weekend.
From blizzard conditions in North Dakota to snowy highways in Colorado and Kansas, this is the winter weather millions of Americans are bracing for as a massive storm moves east across the country.
I'm authorizing a disaster proclamation for Winter Storm Landon, effective immediately.
Governors in Illinois and Arkansas warning residents to stay safe.
It looks like weather-wise it will be Wednesday night. We will see temperatures drop below freezing.
In the south, the big concern is ice. In Texas, they're salting the roads and covering up the shrubs. But the real worry is avoiding a repeat of the devastating power outages last year.
Last year, we lost power in this neighborhood for 3 days.
This storm isn't forecast to be as severe, but Texas Governor Greg Abbott says the state's power grid is ready.
And the Department of State Health Services, they are coordinating with hospital preparedness providers on resource needs and requirements for hospitals, including reporting of facility issues, things that could arise, such as power outages, water issues, medical surge staff, or overnight lodging requirements.
That's not stopping many from stocking up just in case. This grocery store busy in Springfield, Missouri.
A lot of empty shelves. I haven't found everything I need.
It is what it is. You can't do anything about the weather.
It's changing travel plans for many too. More than 1,000 flights have already been canceled for Wednesday, according to FlightAware. And Southwest Airlines announced it's suspending all operations at its Dallas hub Thursday as the storm blows in. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
That was Bradley Blackburn reporting. We're going to actually check in with Chester for how it will impact our local weather a little later in the show. Well, February is also Black History Month, and we celebrate Black history and women's history all year long with a Black Girl Calendar content calendar, holiday content calendar. We're going to tell you all about that coming up after the break.